make a great point. Is they do this with these younger kids because they're going out on the weekends trying to win a freaking plastic trophy.
Right.
And they, I mean, I don't know how many rings we collected over the years with our younger guys. I don't even know where they're at.
Right.
I mean, I could care less. I mean, I got stuff from the big leagues. I don't even know where it's at. It was just, it was a matter of playing. It wasn't a matter of accumulating stuff, and it was a matter of me getting better every day.
Yeah.
And that's the piece. And Derek Jeter said better than anybody else. I went to the park every day. He wants to be remembered as a guy that went to the park every day trying to get better.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the world's favorite youth baseball podcast, Clearing the Bases, featuring Coach Jimmy, Phil, and Jerry. I'm David Friedman. I want to thank you for coming along on this ride with us.
And that's the saddest part, because the strategy of the game is one of the greatest pieces, and that's happened in the big leagues as well now, right? It's power pitching, power hitting. Who cares about batting average? Who cares about moving a runner over with man on second, less than 2 outs? Who cares about, I mean, it's just all this stuff. It's ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just hard to watch. And that's why I enjoy what I do and where I'm at, because I can teach the game the way I grew up playing the game and the way that, I've learned to respect the game.
All right, I know what you're going to say. What is this show going to be? 2 grumpy old men complaining about youth baseball? Well, let me tell you something. I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. Tonight we have Jeff Schaefer. Jeff is a local guy from Long Island. He attended Patchogue Medford High School and then went on to the University of Maryland, where he received All-American and All-ACC honors. He was the 12th round draft pick of the Baltimore Orioles. He spent 14 years playing professional ball and 5 seasons in the big leagues with the White Sox and Mariners and the A's. Jeff is currently the USA Baseball Northeast and Southeast Regional Director. He is the owner of Pro Stock Baseball Academy. I mean, I can keep going here with Jeff. There's just so many things that he's involved in because of his love for the game. So, like I said before, I can assure you it's not 2 grumpy old men complaining about baseball. It's me talking to a guy who has a lot of experience and knows how to develop players and knows how to treat the game with respect. Here's Jeff Schaefer. Jeff, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. When I got the message from you, I was like, yeah, I'm all in, man. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's jump into it here. So let's talk a little bit about, because it's near and dear to my heart, let's go to USA Baseball first. Talk a little bit about your history there and how you got involved with that and what you're doing there.
There's an evolution to getting there. Obviously, I spent 14 years in the game. When I entered the game, I was drafted out of the University of Maryland by the Baltimore Orioles. And, I grew up on Long Island playing County MAC baseball, playing local North Patchogue Youth Athletic Association. Same group, same guys, rec ball, all that other stuff. And all of a sudden, you check out of that environment for 14 years into the college ranks and then the professional environment. So really 17 years removed from what I grew up with. Got done playing, did some other things in business, enjoyed it, but didn't find the adrenaline that I got from the game. And I went back and started doing lessons at a small facility here in Charlotte, North Carolina, called Extra Innings. And, in the process, I'm having conversations with these people, and they're saying, oh, yeah, we have a travel team, and we go here, we go there, and we do all this other stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Because travel baseball for us growing up was going to the next neighborhood, right? And you play against the guys down the road.
That's right.
That was travel baseball, man. You got on your bike, you threw the glove on the handlebars and the bat in the rack, and you went and got it. And you played with the same guys that you played with growing up when you started in Little League all the way through high school. So I started to investigate a little bit more, and I started to see that this was a business. It wasn't what we grew up with. It wasn't sponsorships by the local pharmacy, the restaurant down the road. It was just much more than that. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I don't get it. So I educated myself more on it, and found out that it was a competitive environment. People jumped. They played for different teams. They didn't play for their neighborhood or like we grew up doing. And it was expensive. And it was just like, this is crazy. So I did get involved with it. What I did find out in that process was that you pay to play. you'd go where you're going to go. You're going to get a uniform. Some dad wants to start a team. He's not happy with another team, whatever. And it was pay to play. So, we went through that. We started an organization. That was the landscape we worked out, and we had to work in, I should say. But when I found USA Baseball, they had just come off losing Olympic money. They canceled the Olympics, and they lost $3 million, and they were building programs. And I met with a guy named another Long Island guy named Rick Riccobono, and Rick explained to me what they were trying to do in the processes, and I said I want to get involved because if somebody's going to pay, I wanted money going to the right place, meaning our national team, with an opportunity to grow USA Baseball. And on top of it, it wasn't pay and you get a uniform. You paid for an opportunity and you had to earn your way to a national team. And that's what I grew up with, right? I mean, you either made the team or you didn't make it. And, if you did make the team, that doesn't mean you were playing every day. You had to earn your spot. So we jumped in the very beginning of the USA Baseball NTIS, which is the National Team Identification Series. And with that, we helped grow it. And we just ran a regional today here in Charlotte. We'll run another one next week. We have them going up and down the East Coast. We'll see as many kids as we possibly can see, and we're going to bring the best talent we can possibly bring to Cary that's willing to come out and try out in August. And I'll spend 3 weeks in August in Cary. And, those kids that get selected out of there go to the 40-man trials of the National Development Program, and they're one step away from making the national team. So, each age group, Jimmy, I'll tell you this, and I know it's kind of a long-winded answer, and I'll back off after this, but, each age group only has 18 players. We have 2 teams per region, but our national team only has 18 players. So you think about us blanketing the country looking for the top talent. And that's what we bring to Cary, and that's what goes on to our national teams. When you watch the draft and all that, you'll see them announcing, played for Team USA, played for Team USA. The best dudes find their way through there.
Yeah, but what's interesting is, from my perspective, now I scout for USA Baseball here in New York, and I've had several players that I've had, go to regional tryouts, and some have made it down to Cary. And my biggest problem is that a lot of people don't know about USA Baseball, and it drives me crazy.
So, it's an interesting point. Because when we first got started, everybody said, well, this is a money grab, this is a money grab. It's the last thing in the country that's a money grab when it comes to baseball. We are building a national program. We have a beautiful facility in Cary, North Carolina, and we're putting our best talent, our best baseball talent in the United States, American players. They go play international. You've seen the World Baseball Classic evolve out of this. That just doesn't happen. And, there are expenses to everything that goes along, but, it's not a cash grab. Now, do people make money doing it? Yeah. I mean, we have events and things like that we put on. We have some liberties to do camps and clinics under the umbrella, no doubt about it. But this isn't if you called me up and said, hey, I got this player, man, I'd like for him to get on a national, go to Cary in August. And I'm like, he's got to try out like every other person out there. And if we like him, we take him, because not every kid that comes through there is wearing that national brand uniform, right? And we know what all those national brand uniforms are. It's easy to say. It's you're the Canes, you're 5-star, you're whatever. That's great. We find some of the best talent from some of the most rural areas, some of the kids that just flat out know how to play. And they get an opportunity that, they would never get because they're not playing on a national brand team.
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100%. There are so many other better cases that you could make for cash grabs other than, USA Baseball, where, the way I see it, it's a true competition. I mean, and that's, to your point, when we were younger, there weren't a lot of places to play baseball. There was, you played for your high school, you played for your little leagues, and then maybe there was a Legion team. And that was the best of the best. Somehow everything got whacked out, and now everybody goes out there, and again, to your point, pays to play. And you take something like USA Baseball, again, I say it's harder to make a USA Baseball team than it is to make into pro ball, because
Absolutely.
less guys do it.
Absolutely.
And it's a true, but maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe people don't want that competition. Maybe they don't want to be exposed.
Yeah. I mean, listen, to me, it's people ask, should I do this? Should I do it? And I'm not, going through the regional events and things like that, but you don't know where you stack up unless you get in that environment. Okay. So if you're afraid of that environment, then you're going to be afraid of every other scenario that comes up in the rest of this, your journey through whatever. I mean, I went to the University of Maryland, not recruited anywhere. I went there because my father played there years and years ago, and he convinced the head coach there that I could field, I could throw, I could run, and they're going to knock the bat out of my hands my first year. But I promise you, he was going to be that type of player. He took a shot at me. I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew I had to go compete. I had to go see if I could, play at this level. And I didn't even know what the ACC was. I was just going to play baseball, right? That's all I cared about, man. I'm going to play baseball in college. Good for me. Little did I know it was an ACC program. And but again, that you find that, and then you also find, and I don't mean this in a negative way or a condescending way. You find these, parents are parents, right? We love our kids beyond anything. We take a bullet for them, no doubt about it. And they're delusional in terms of the talent level of their kids. It's like playing golf, right? You played golf with Springer today. Other than him cheating, probably he's pretty good golfer, right? He's like, he's a boring golfer. He's down the middle, he putt, whatever. But you play to a handicap, okay? So you can enjoy the competition, okay? You can't take a lesser talent and put him amongst great talent and expect him to produce the same way, because you're going to lose interest in the game. So it's gotten diluted. We got many teams. We got travel teams. We go down to perfect game, 300 plus teams, whatever. I'm not a fan, to be honest with you, of the travel showcase baseball world. I'm not.
Me neither.
But you know what? That's the landscape we have to play in, right? So if we got to put a team together, we have to go compete and see what we can do in that environment.
Right, but now that whole environment, I'm glad you brought that up, because you triggered something. That whole landscape, in my opinion, is going to change now with the transfer portal. Okay, because and as a matter of fact, I just had a conversation today with a college coach, because I had a kid that I wanted him to take a look at, and he was honest, and he came back. He said, "Jim, I'm not looking at high school players anymore." He said, "We're getting guys from junior college. We're getting guys from D1 transfers." So my point is, what do you think? I mean, the landscape has to change now.
And we're changing with the landscape here. So I've had CBC as our organization, had it for 17, 18 years now. We've got a lot of kids out of high school into college. And because of the portal, because of NIL money, because of all this other stuff, it has changed. So we have a facility here in Charlotte through You Deserve a Chance Foundation, CMR, and the Knoxville Foundation. But we're going to the academy. We're going to the virtual learning academy program, where where the players are going to educate themselves online. We're going to train them throughout the week, and we're going to play against junior colleges, higher academies, higher level academies. So they're getting battle tested. So the high school kids that we're taking, or the post grad kids that we're taking, literally have a chance to step into a college program equivalent to a JUCO guy or a D3 guy that's transferring or anything else like that. So it has to go down that road. I've had great conversations with other people that are successful. Jeff Petty with the Canes, who's a friend. And like I said, Jeff, one of the biggest brands out there, has a great national team. We're in agreement that, that it is changing. The NCAA has absolutely screwed up college baseball, absolutely run it over. NIL money, free transfer portal. Now you're going to pay all the Power 5 players to be there. So what has happened now is college baseball has become pro ball. Power 5s are the big leagues. Mid-majors are AAA. Division II is AA. JUCO, Division III, A-ball, rookie ball, whatever. Okay, and you're trying to ascend up because there's money up there. Okay, and I understand that. I understand that for families. How can you deny a kid that you're going to say you're going to get $250,000, your college scholarship paid for, and $250,000 to come over here and play for us? Come on, you may not even get drafted.
Yeah.
You get a chance to go make that money down the road.
Yeah, you can't compete with that. I mean, and I look at it, because I'm a high school coach. I look at it. What about my high school boys? What are they supposed to do?
Yeah, it's sad, right? I mean, it breaks your heart.
Sure it does.
Because you could. We used to say all the time, there's a place everywhere in the country for a kid to play college baseball, right? We used to, that was a, and there was. I mean, you could send a kid to Dordt University in Idaho, where one of the classes is sharpening buck knives. But you're on a team. You're playing baseball, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate, because dreams are going to die in high school and not in college. You know, everybody dreams about being a big leaguer. Give me a chance to play college baseball. You never know. I mean, we've heard D3 stories of guys in the big leagues. Tony Womack being one of them, you know, that played for the Yankees in one World Series, and he lives here in Charlotte. So I don't know. It's a sad state for the people that genuinely love the game. You know, the people coming through here and they don't understand. And there's pressure on you, pressure on me for people that play in our organization that want to compete in these certain things to get these kids to college, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to help these kids get to college, and we are doing everything we possibly can. And to your point in the beginning, the college coach says, hey, guess what, man? I don't even look at high school kids anymore. Well, you got to check that guy off your box.
Yeah.
Now you got to go find somebody else that is looking at college guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually my response to him was, well, okay, because look, I'll be honest, I am a big junior college advocate. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think a lot of kids should go to junior college and play there. Get your feet wet, develop more, get bigger, faster, stronger, and then move on from there. So I'm an advocate of it. Okay, but my response to him was, okay, so then that's what I should start doing, is start looking for junior colleges for my players. And, what else am I going to do?
So, it's a great point, right? So that used to be, in the Carolinas, going to a JUCO was a scarlet letter. Like, okay, you're going to go play in junior college when we got North Carolina, NC State, USC Upstate, Clemson, South Carolina, got all these. Like, really, you're going to go play in a junior college? So, there should not be, to your point, there should not be any scarlet letter to anything when it comes to JUCO baseball, because it does give you an opportunity to, get your feet wet early and get battle tested. And look, you can leave after 1 year, you can leave after 2 years, right? But you can, you have a chance. The problem now is JUCOs are going to expanded rosters, right? So, and Division IIs are going to expanded rosters. So you say, okay, I got a kid committed to Belmont Abbey, a Division II program down here in North Carolina. Great program. Been to the Division II World Series. They got 70 kids.
Wow.
Right? St. Andrews down the road. And I love these coaches. And their hands are tied because the administration is going, we need more people in here going to school.
Right.
So you get to practice once or twice a week. It's almost like playing club baseball.
Right.
And, but you're saying, yeah. And the kid gets to put it up on social media, committed to Belmont Abbey, committed to St. Andrews. But guess what? You didn't. So, JUCO is a great route, but it is there's a log jam going on there too. We sent two kids to one of the JUCOs here that just went to the Junior College World Series. Two of my top players, both redshirted this year in junior college.
Oh my God.
Wow. Like, come on. And they were dudes. And I talk about dudes.
Yeah.
These were kids that should have stepped onto a 4-year program, got their feet wet 1 year, and went on. Now, I'm fortunate because I have a son that's at University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and got a scholar. He's a freshman. He only had 9 ABs, but they did take him to the regional, the only freshman position player they took to the regional. He got the experience there. He's playing in the Appy League, the MLB Appy League right now, loving it because he's playing. And, but it's a difficult road. And again, it's hard on us because people don't understand what you and I have to deal with to try and get these kids to the next level. It's like, hey, you might have been a D1 player 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. No doubt. We could have probably got you to, mid-major or something like that. But guess what, man? You might have to go to a Division III program. And you might have to play your way out of there because that's how the NCAA has set it up.
Right.
You see a lot of Division III All-American kids ending up on D1 rosters.
Right. Well, I mean, if we can look at maybe silver lining in that, so if you are a freshman and do go to junior college or you go to a D3 school, you know what? Shine there. Go there and shine. And then the opportunities will open up for you. Instead of possibly going to a school and maybe, like you said, redshirting is not a big deal, but I'm saying if you're sitting on the bench, maybe your first 2 years, okay? If you're in a JUCO and you could play, well, go there and hit the crap out of the ball. Show people you can play. And then move from there. So maybe there is a little bit of a silver lining in that.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with you 100%. I mean, listen, you I've told these kids forever, you want to go where you can play. Don't go to Clemson and not play for 4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
It's no fun because the other part of this, and people don't realize is, we're looking at college for most of these kids. Major League Baseball has cut the draft down to 20 rounds.
Yeah.
Okay. and you're done. It's not like 40 rounds when I was playing or whatever. And, you got guys that are, Mike Piazza doesn't get drafted.
Yeah.
If there's only 20 rounds, he doesn't get drafted.
Yeah.
And you look at it. So the opportunities end in college for the majority of players, where there used to be a little bit wider gap to move on and get a chance to put on an affiliate uniform and play minor league baseball.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess, it's relatively new, the whole, new scenario. So I guess we'll have to sit back and see how it goes. And hopefully, maybe the NCAA will wake up and say, wait a minute, there are problems here that we have to fix. You cannot have every college player be a free agent every single year. It's ridiculous.
And you know how that's going to have to happen? It's going to have to happen with the college coaches.
Yeah.
And who's not going to push that hard? They're the Power 5 coaches.
Right. Of course not.
Because they're benefiting from all of it. They get to pay their players. They're like big league managers. They're like big league facilities, big league everything.
Right.
So, that's unfortunate because, you listen to Gary Gilmore, Coastal Carolina, absolutely disgusted. Yeah. Disgusted with the scenario. If you go online and you follow, like everybody follows players, like this played, and all the highlight reels that they're following, but follow the college coaches because they will get on there from time to time, or they get on your podcast or my podcast, or they do whatever. And you hear them talk about, in reality, they're all disgusted with it, but the ones that are benefiting from it are the Power 5 guys.
Yeah.
And they're getting paid too. They're getting paid millions of dollars now
to
coach baseball. So good for them.
Yeah, well, one of the things that Gilmore said that really hit home was, if I offer you a scholarship, I have to honor that. So I offer a kid a scholarship, and then 1 week before he's supposed to report to campus, he tells me, oh, by the way, coach, I'm going to go somewhere else. Now I'm screwed.
Yeah.
And I mean, that really made an impact. I was like, wow, that's terrible.
So there is a trickle down from non-loyalty in this whole scenario, right? So the travel showcase baseball world is ugly. Right? There's nobody loyal to any organization. You're going to pick up and choose to go somewhere else to do because they think they got something better uniform, better competition, better whatever. So there's no loyalty, right? You got it, and they take that into college now. Well, I went to the University of Maryland, and I'm here for 4 years if that's how long it took. Fortunately, I was drafted after my junior year, but and I still have we still have a text link with all the guys that I went to Maryland with. It's a great link. It's the same group of guys. We were together, some of them were ahead of me, some of them were behind me, but, there's a hybrid of within like 6 years of players in there.
Right.
And, none of us went anywhere. Yeah. Nobody transferred. There might have been a JUCO kid on there that came over to the program, but, nobody was like, hey, I'm going down the road to do this because I'm not happy. You were on the team. Yeah. And that's how we grew up, right? You were on the team. The best players played, and you were happy to be on the team and be part of it, and that's just how it went. You weren't that talented.
Yeah, and if you did want to transfer, you were penalized. You had to sit for a year.
Yeah, there's no consequences now, right? Yeah. No consequences, and you can go get money.
Yeah.
So,
it's promoting it, but you know what? Like I said, hopefully maybe somebody will wake up and somebody will say, "Listen, we need to change this," and we'll see what happens. Let's jump into a little bit about the CBC. Tell me about it.
Okay.
I know that, you've been very successful with it. And, let's let our listeners know, what that's all about.
So, I hope the listeners here, listen, you and I do this because we love the game, right? I mean, we're not getting rich doing podcasts.
No.
We love the game. We love talking about the game. Like if you and I met in a bar, we probably talk all night long, and they'd turn the lights on, so you got to go. But we're not done talking, right?
That's right.
So, when I went through the whole process, I knew I wanted to be involved in the game. I wasn't happy. I had some successes in some other businesses when I got done playing, but I was never happy. I was making money, sold a couple companies, but I just didn't find that adrenaline, didn't find whatever. So I wanted to get back in the game, and I did not want to go to. I didn't want to go back to professional baseball, and I did get offered a first base job in the big leagues by an organization, and excited when I got it, and then on the plane ride back to where I was, and my wife, and I had two boys at the time. My daughters were grown, and I just like, man, I'm not. I don't want to be in pro ball anymore. It's a tough life. It's not as glamorous as people think. You have some celebrity to you walking down the street, but in reality, it's not glamorous. So when I got done, I was at a dinner or something with a bunch of people, and the guy said, "Hey, man, you played baseball." I said, he said, "I got a group of boys that are trying to put a team together and play in this rec league." And I'm like, whatever. And I'm like, he's like, "Would you be interested in doing it?" And I'm not even thinking. I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I would be." The next day the phone rings. He says, "I got 13 kids that want to play." I'm like, what, man? Like, really? So we played in a rec league, and it was fun. We had some decent talent, and then we had some kids that really never played. I had a kid that put a ball in play, and he didn't stop running from home plate to home until he got tagged out. And he was so fast that half the time he made it. So like, this isn't the game I know, but this is pretty funny. So, I took it to the next level, and I did some research, and had some other powerhouse organizations in the area, some friends. And I'm like, "How did you do this? What'd you do?" And started with one team, grew it. Eventually, at one point, we had 30 teams. And I fell out of love with that part of it. You know what I mean? I fell out of love dealing with all these different parents that were delusional. I hated the fact that people were paying me, and I didn't even know their name because there was so many people. And so scaled it down. And we went to one team per age group, and we were basically from 12U up to high school teams. And then we slowly even got rid of the younger teams, because the most delusional parents are the younger parents, right?
Yes.
And listen, again, I go back to, they love their kids. They think they're the greatest in the world. And, I had a conversation today about, sometimes you got to be more honest, because the honesty is painful, but it helps them in the end.
My motto. That's my motto. Yeah. Be brutally honest.
Yeah. So we're in our 18th year. We'll finish with 19. We're down to 2 teams. I have an extremely talented 2025 group. Several Division I players. Everyone on the team is going to go play somewhere. That, to our conversation earlier, that's a feather in our cap as an organization, that we're going to take all these kids and they're going to play somewhere.
Yeah, no doubt.
Excited about that. But also excited that CBC is winding down. Next year will be our last year. We'll have one more team, our 2026s. That'll be it. I'll be out of the travel showcase environment, and I'll be more involved in the developmental piece and bridging that player that should go to college, that wasn't going to get a chance to go to college, with our academy, with Pro Stock Baseball Academy.
Okay, yeah, you actually led me into my next topic, so go ahead, talk about that.
Well, again, it's observation. I think I think that's where my success in business has been, because I know that, every landscape changes over time. We talked about growing up on Long Island, and, travel ball was our next neighborhood, right? Cut through the woods on your bike, and here we go.
That's right.
Now it's if you don't go to Georgia to Perfect Game, you don't go to Jupiter, you don't go here and there, then, you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So, it's and the expansion of teams. Like, there should be to the handicap, comment I made earlier, a group of kids that just stay in rec ball and enjoy playing the game.
Yes.
And love the game the rest of their life, right?
Yes.
And grow up with their sons and do it. And, they're baseball fans. No, everybody has to be in a travel showcase team. Everybody, and playing 6 games on the weekend, and just like, it's just crazy. And it's all become business. So, CBC's done. Pro Stock is going to start up. I like the fact that I get to develop kids again. We'll spend the mornings on the field. We'll do 4 days a week minimum. I'll work with infielders. I got former big league guys with me. I got former college coaches with me, strength and conditioning coaches with me, and we're going to make these kids better to move into college than if they just came out of their high school program. The physicality. We're playing against 24 and 25-year-old kids right now. I went down to the regional in Georgia, Jimmy, and these were men. Listen.
Yes.
I was a late developer, so, puberty didn't hit me until I was almost 20. These guys had massive beards and shit like that, so I want to develop the kids and prepare them and help move these guys on to the next level. So we have a post-grad piece to it. So a lot of kids that didn't come through high school, that just either they weren't physical enough or didn't get the look that they should get, at that time, come play with us because we're going to play against Pro 5. We're going to play against PDG out of Virginia, P27 down here in Columbia, South Carolina, competitive. And then we're going to play against Belmont Abbey. We're going to play against, these other Division II programs, JUCOs. So they're getting college baseball experience. They're developing, which means they're battle tested and they're prepared to move on, and they will have 4 years of eligibility left. So, that's the concept.
So tell me what you're going to be doing as far as your practices and stuff like that, developing players. And the reason why I bring that up is because it's a pet peeve with me now. I'm getting players at the high school level, and actually last night I was with Springer at the Renegades watching the Yankees high A team play, and I got to tell you something, Jeff, the level of play, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Guys missing cutoffs, catchers not getting to their knees to block balls. There was a guy on second base from the Brooklyn Cyclones. Now, again, high A ball for the Mets. On second base, 2 outs, fly ball to center field, the runner tagged up. How could you do that if you're a professional baseball player?
Yeah. It's different. So we, again, people say, you think your generation was better? I said, no, my generation wasn't bigger, faster, stronger. No. But my generation was better baseball players.
Yes.
We understood how the game is supposed to be played. There's over 12 million scenarios that can take place in a game of baseball, right? And it's a game of anticipation. We did pretty good at anticipating. We understood, and we weren't hitting doubles and doing all this crazy stuff and whatever, man. I was waiting for the ball to get thrown over somebody's head to take the next base, right? But these guys are doing all this stuff, flashing, popping. I'm watching Georgia the other night. Great kid, great player, man. They got a freshman was wearing number 33, had a chain on. He had his shirt unbuttoned down to his midsection. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what coach over there? Like, you've been doing this long enough. You're gonna let this kid do that? Respect the game.
He was a freshman.
Yeah, he's a freshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's a dude.
Yeah.
He's a stud. I've seen the kid play, when he was in high school. But I'm like, really? Like, and they're like, let the kids play. No, dude, respect the game first, then let the kids play.
Yeah.
Wes, do we sound like we're old and, you're bald, I'm gray? Like, we're freaking old, man. Like cranky old men.
I was going to say, yeah. But you want to know something? I mean, it's the truth. How could you not? And I use this all the time. I say to the younger players, okay, you guys did not see what we saw. All right. So you don't know what it was like. You know what I mean? You have nothing to compare it to. We have something to compare it to because we saw what it was when we were kids or we were younger, and we see what it is now. Okay. So I mean, we have that comparison to make it. Believe me, it's not the same thing. Again, I'll give you another scenario. A high school senior playing third base. We're on defense. The other team had first and second. Ground ball. There were 2 outs. Ground ball hit right to my third baseman. Jeff, he winds up like he's throwing the ball to first base.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I'm in the dugout. I usually don't say much. I screamed out of the dugout. I literally screamed, "Step on the freaking base."
Yeah.
I got to tell a senior in high school.
I got to show everybody I'm 85 across the diamond, and I may throw it over the roof, but I got to show them that.
That's right. I'll hit some old lady in the head in the stands.
Dude, you want to hear a story about that?
Yeah, sure.
My first big league infield. I took a backhand before the game. IO, backhand. I unleash it. It takes off, goes over the first baseman's head. Billy Joe Robideau, probably the shortest first baseman in the league that year, unfortunately. This woman turns. The ball hits her square in the head. Splits her wide open. I'm sick, right? It gets better, man. I run over there. I'm ready to throw up, right? I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. My family flew in from New York to Anaheim to see this. Like, this is my big league debut. They're bringing a stretcher down, right? And as they're bringing the stretcher down, the husband bends over, picks up the ball, and goes, "Dude, will you sign this?"
Oh, jeez.
No kidding. No kidding. So I about killed the woman. It's my first.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
So then my analogy hitting an old lady in the stands is not too far fetched.
It's a little close to home for me.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, I mean, so that's, again, we may sound like grumpy old men. Yes, I get it, but it's only because we have something to compare it to. And I agree with you 100% that yes, the guys nowadays are bigger, faster, stronger, but they don't know how to play the game.
Right. Well, it's interesting, and that's the saddest part, because the strategy of the game is one of the greatest pieces, and that's happened in the big leagues as well now, right? It's power pitching, power hitting. Who cares about batting average? Who cares about moving a runner over with man on second, less than 2 outs? Who cares about, I mean, it's just all this stuff. It's ridiculous. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just hard to watch. And that's why I enjoy what I do and where I'm at, because I can teach the game the way I grew up playing the game and the way that, I've learned to respect the game.
Right. So let's go back just a little bit to what I was talking about. We kind of got a little off track. So what are you going to do to develop your players so that their baseball IQ is better, that their, all of their developmental skills are better? What are you going to do with them?
So there's a couple things in there. Obviously, we'll do fundamental development, right? Absolutely do fundamental development. Teach them how to, field the ground ball, throw a ground ball. We'll incorporate springers, quality at bats into, your approach. Pitches, we're not this big velo stuff. We're going to teach them how to pitch. We're going to get them to understand that, you're going to throw balls in the dirt, and you're going to get, guys to chase pitches instead of trying to blow them away with mask high fastballs. There is a program out there, and hopefully you get a chance to listen. And it's a friend, and it's a Northeast guy by the name of John Rosen, and it's called Six Tool. And as a high school coach, you should check this out, because and it's not very expensive, but it's an app that you give your players, and you can create a quiz for them every single night, talking about scenarios. Okay, so first and third, what are our cutoff situations? I mean, what are our throw throughs? What's our down the third? What's whatever. So you're educating the players on situations. It's phenomenal. It's to me, it's like the batting tee of baseball. It's called Six Tool, sixtool.com.
You see me reaching for my pen, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and so it is sincerely an educational tool, and it's not time consuming. So what happens is you can put together your bunt defenses, right? And you send it out to your team. It goes to their app. They get it, in 2 minutes they finish the app. You can find out which players are missing. What you're trying to teach them. Okay, so you go to them, right? Look, this is where you missed it. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Come back with it. They get it. So it's quiz based. It's phenomenal. A lot of people are starting to jump on it. A lot of coaches are starting to jump on it. But the kids have to download the app, and it becomes an educational piece. So that on top of preparing them for next level academics. People just think you're going to school to play baseball, but it's not the case, man. Especially going in in the fall, you got to figure out how to balance how to get out of there in 4 years, not sit there in 6 years.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit to it. So if people go to, it's called prostockroyals.com. If they go to prostockroyals.com, they can go to the FAQs, and they can see everything that we're about. And that we're extremely proud of.
It's a beautiful thing, because, again, it's pet peeve of mine. I talk about it on the show all of the time, that, we're not, especially at the younger ages, we're not developing our players with the rudimentary parts of the game, okay? Right. And I've said this a million times, because I've seen it a million times, where young kids, 8, 9, 10, coaches are working on pickoff moves. They're working on double cuts. Wait a minute. This kid can't even throw and catch yet. Why are we doing this other stuff? All right. So then we get him at the high school level, and I'm a big catch play guy. Okay. So when I see high school players do catch, I want to throw up. They don't know how to throw. They don't know how to catch.
No, the problem, and you make a great point, is, they do this with these younger kids because they're going out on the weekends trying to win a freaking plastic trophy.
Right.
And they, I mean, I don't know how many rings we collected over the years with our younger guys. I don't even know where they're at. Right. I mean, I could care less. I mean, I got stuff from the big leagues. I don't even know where it's at. It was just, it was a matter of playing. It wasn't a matter of accumulating stuff. And it was a matter of me getting better every day.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the piece. And Derek Jeter said better than anybody else. I went to the park every day. He wants to be remembered as a guy that went to the park every day trying to get better. Ended up being a Hall of Famer. But even in the last day that he was there, I guarantee he was taking ground balls, doing things and saying, just how do I get better? How do I get better?
Right.
But it's not that way now. It's all a showcase. It's all highlight reels on social media. You know, it's all these dudes that know everybody. You know, I mean, we knew one or two guys on Long Island that was special when we were growing up, and everybody else was baseball players. We were just playing and we're competing, right?
That's right.
And then next thing you know, oh yeah, that guy played. Oh really? And he played in the minor leagues or went to college. Great, but it wasn't. You know, we weren't enamored with every other kid down the road. We were just, our gang of guys were going against your gang of guys, and it just happened to be baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Brooklyn, and to your point, our gang of guys against it was,
Yep.
we would get the guys from our neighborhood, and we'd go play the guys in the other neighborhood in the schoolyard, and that's the way we did it.
And I guarantee you, Jimmy, the most competitive games you ever had were right there with your own group of guys playing stickball or something. And,
Oh, no doubt.
like who plays stoop ball anymore?
Oh,
Nobody
God.
knows that.
They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know what it is.
No, you know how many ground balls I took throwing a super pinky off the wall.
Yes.
I mean, these guys don't do that. No, you got to go buy this net. You got to go buy this pitch pad. Like, there's a wall and you got a ball. Like, you got all the tools you need.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny. Years ago, I'm going to say maybe 10 years ago, we're at a practice, and one of the kids on my team at the time said to me, "Coach, how come every time when you throw the ball up, when you're hitting fungos, when you throw the ball up, you never miss the ball?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, because I probably did this, I don't know, maybe 100,000 times in my life, because we used to do it when we were kids all the time. So I said, you know what? That's pretty interesting. I said, guys, let's do this one at a time. You guys come up here. I want you to throw the ball up and hit it. Jeff, I can't tell you, they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sad.
Yeah. Well, we used to pick up rocks and hit rocks with sticks.
Yes.
We're hitting rocks this big.
Yeah.
Our whole lives with sticks.
Yeah.
Seeing how far we could do. Or dirt balls, because they were building a house in the neighborhood and we're over there. And, I mean, it's just, there's no, everything is sterile, right? And listen, again, I had an academy. We gave lessons. We did all that other stuff I wanted to develop, but I didn't grow up with that. I grew up with, competing against the guy down the road, figuring it out and doing more things on my own.
Right.
And I tell kids, you think you're going to get better going and getting a lesson every time? No, you're going to get better doing things when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to get better. You're going to figure things out.
Yeah.
Compete against yourself.
Bingo. I mean, whenever I don't do it anymore, but I used to give lessons. And when I would give a lesson, I would actually pull a parent into the cage afterwards. And I would say to the player and the parent, if you think that what we just did is going to make you a better hitter, you're mistaken, because it's not. Okay. Yeah. Unless we take what we're doing, we go home. Look, I always tell them, give me a bucket or two a night. Take you a half hour. Okay. Doing these drills, and then you'll become a better hitter. So that's simple.
Yeah. It's the sad part about Jimmy is, and again, here we are, grumpy old man, right? We're doing this whole thing, is that nobody had to tell me to do that.
Right.
I figured out how to do that on my own. Like, I'm going to go get better. I'm going to go, nobody's going to say, hey, you got to get me a bucket of balls. You got to do this, and you got to show up, and I'm going to determine if you got, if you did your work. Listen, I ate those guys alive, man.
Yes.
The guys that didn't go do what I'm doing, good for you. Don't do it, buddy.
That's right.
Don't do it, because I'm going to be on the field, and you're not.
Exactly. Yeah. But, the other thing, too, that you had mentioned before, and this is something I want everybody to understand, is about development where, again, I'm going to go back to Springer, because this is one of his quotes that I love, is that nobody wants to use an oven anymore. Everybody wants to use a microwave. Okay. What people need to understand, and you said it before, 1% better every day. Okay.
Yeah. Think about it.
As a coach, I still do that. I'm going to be 62 years old. I'm still trying to get 1% better every day.
Yeah.
People need to understand that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes a long time. And you're not going to see those results. Again, let's go back to a lesson. You take a hitting lesson. Well, if you get a hitting lesson and then maybe you'd spend 2 weeks, hitting on your own, well, in the third week, you're not going to start hitting 500. It don't work like that. It takes a long time.
Yeah. People
need to understand that.
It takes experimentation too, right? You got to figure out what your thing is. You got to keep trying what works for you. And it's interesting, I mean, it's fun talking to you, because, you bring up things like somebody told me when I was probably 12 years old, like, you throw a baseball across the horseshoe if you're an infielder, right? So you keep four seams going and you keep it straight or whatever, right? So I got a baseball in my room every single night, throwing it in the air, catching it, grabbing four seams, right? So I had a kid go like, I'm taking ground balls. I'm 64 now, probably a couple of years ago. I'm taking ground balls, and I'm watching his ball go across the diamond, and I'm watching the seams compared to my seams. I'm like, dude, you got a four seam, right? And he's like, well, what are you talking about? He goes, well, how did you learn that? I'm like, how did I learn that? Like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, and that's why, you know, and hopefully you're probably the same. I mean, we get to teach the kids the game that we knew. So our guys are coming out better. Like I'm literally like right next to our computer right now. I'm watching my son play in the Appy League, the MLB Appy League. Right, yeah. He's a freshman. He's doing well, and he just lined out his last at bat, and you could tell he's not happy. Right, but I want to give you an example of my son and how he was raised in my family. So the other night he hit a flare over second base, heading towards center field. Center fielder coming in, both infielders going out. Right. Instead of like just kind of jogging, like, okay, that's if he catches it, he catches whatever. No, the kid came out of the box, dove into second base, turned a freaking, crappy at bat into a double. So, those are things I'm proud of. Those are the guys that, that's, and I keep telling my wife, I'm like, listen, knocking heads with your kid coaching. I had two boys, and they were the toughest kids to coach, but. I look at my wife and I'm like, they got it. They understood. She goes, yeah, they were listening to you all along. They just didn't want to acknowledge.
Well, to your point, there's a story I've told on the show a million times. I'll make it real quick. This is a couple of years ago. Player hits a ball, towering fly ball in the infield. I'm looking at it and I'm saying this thing's dropping. There's no way that they're going to catch this. And the guy's jogging down, to first base and this and that. He gets to first base, the ball drops. So he's all excited because he's on first base. I looked in the dugout. I said, get a helmet and go run for him. Like that. So the kid comes in and he says, Coach, he goes, I'm on base. Why'd you take it? I said, because you should have been standing on second base. Yeah. That's why, to your point.
Respect for the game, man. Play, listen, this is a finite game, right? It ends for all of us playing wise.
Oh, yeah.
And every year I'll put something on social media and it'll basically say, listen, this game is ending for a lot of you guys. Look back and tell me that you never took a play off. That you played as hard as you possibly could and you respected the game to the end. Because this game owes us nothing.
Nothing.
It's an absolute privilege for us to play this game. It owes us zero, right?
That's right.
And I always tell people, I use it, this silly analogy, but it's the hottest chick in the bar. Okay? And you're going to keep going after that hot chick until you have that day.
Yep.
But more times than not, you're not walking out of there with the hot chick, right? So, I took it in, the big leagues in my approach. I mean, I got to the big leagues as a utility guy. I grinded out 5 years after I was 28 years old, which is unheard of. But, for me, my mindset was today I could be the greatest player that ever played this game. So I'm on the field playing with Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Jr., Harold Reynolds, right? Like, these are better players than I am. These are great players, right? And consistently, they're going to have better days than I'm going to have. But I could have that one day where I went 3 for 4, made a diving play in a hole that won the game, and I was the best player on the field that day.
Yeah.
And that was my mindset. That was my approach. Now it's, I'm going to button my shirt down to my chest. I'm going to let my chains hang out. I'm going to wear my earrings. Like, bro, we got to start our own league, Grumpy Old Men League. That's what we're gonna do.
Well, let me put it to you.
We'll be thrown out every game. Like, you gotta be kidding me.
I was gonna say though, if we did it, okay, I guarantee our teams would be very good teams. They'd be hard to beat.
No doubt about it.
They'd be hard to beat.
They would definitely be competitive and know how to listen. I tell people again all the time, you don't have to be the best athlete on the field. You got to be the best baseball player on the field. And if you know where to be, what to do at the right time, and how to do it, you're gonna compete. Okay, you got pitch recognition. You know the scenario. You got a guy on second base. You know how to bunt. You can get him over. You can hit a sac fly when you're supposed to. You're gonna compete.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna run into that dude that's gonna throw 95 past you all day long. Sure, you're gonna run into that guy.
Yeah.
You play 162 games in the big leagues, man. You ain't getting me every night.
Yeah.
You ain't getting me every night.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would take, and again, it's something that I say all the time. I will take a lesser talented player with a great mindset over a very talented player with a bad mindset. Hands down, every time.
Yep.
I don't care how good you are if you got a bad attitude.
Tell kids like that going to college, man. You think you're going to act like this in my dugout?
No.
Go ahead and act that way when somebody's really getting paid for their
Yeah.
job. They don't have time for you. They're going to spit you out and throw you away. You don't mean anything to them. You're a pawn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking this personally with you. I'm trying to move you on and give you an opportunity at the next level. So you're going to be a cancer at the next level? Don't have time. Don't need you. See you later. Go ahead and get in the portal, buddy. See what happens.
Right. See exactly what happens.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
let's before I let you go, because we're running up, about 50 minutes, so we got a little bit more time if you have time.
Listen. I just had heart surgery. I'm going nowhere, dude. I'm here all day. You want to call me tomorrow, Jimmy? I'll be here.
Okay, so that then, I mean, look, I can tell you, when I had Chaffin on, we did the show from 7 to 8. Okay, we stopped recording. I did not turn this computer off with him until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Butch is an extremely knowledgeable baseball guy.
Oh yeah,
one of the best in the country. And he's a high school coach.
Yeah,
and he could coach at any level with anybody at any time. 100%. Love the guy. Love listening to him. He's like me. You got to. The only reason you get to talk is because I have to take a breath.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, so I was on with him for almost 6 hours just talking baseball. Yeah. I could just
extremely knowledgeable. I mean, I don't think you could stump that guy in any situation or any whatever. His heart is leather and lace, man.
Right, and you know what? How do I put it? He's so humble. In other words, there's not an air of ego about that man.
No.
Great sense of humor,
and he is proud. More proud of being part of USA Baseball than everybody out there. And he will defend it and he will fight you over it. And I love that about him.
Yeah, yeah. So let's move over a little bit to your You Deserve a Chance Foundation. Mm-hmm. I love that. Talk a little bit about it.
So, again, through the whole processes, and we started our organization, travel baseball, whatever, and there were kids that I wanted to keep, and they come up and say, "Hey, man, we really want to play here. We really want to play for you, but we can't afford to do it." And I had a budget. We're going to go travel. We're going to do whatever. I'm like, really? Like, holy cow! So I got to the point where I started to fund some things on our own. Through myself and our organization, and we were taking. It got to a point where we were taking about an $85,000 a year hit to our bottom line in our business.
Wow.
Okay, but you know what? And I didn't even understand nonprofits and all that, so I probably could have, turned that into, some type of tax break, whatever. But I didn't, and then so I started talking to a buddy of mine, and I said, I have this kid out of nowhere, just having a conversation, well-off guy, and I said, I have this kid that's down in Southern Maryland. Father walked in, smelling like cigarettes, had both his legs amputated. On crutches, and the kid didn't say two words to me, and the father said, somebody told me I need to come see you because I think my son can play. 6 years later, he's pitching in the big leagues.
Wow.
Because I went to my friend and I said, listen, this family has nothing, Mike. This is the story. I really enjoyed the kid. He's quiet. He's just a gamer. He just wants to play. And he said, what's it cost to sponsor him? And he sponsored him. Wow. So I said, okay, and then he brought up the fact, why don't we look to do a nonprofit where we can go out and get monies and we can help the kids that can't afford to play, the underserved, or just families in trouble, right? I've run into families that have been in good situations, and then father lost a job, mother lost a job, something, a parent passed away, something unfortunate happened, and all of a sudden, what's going to get taken away first is the game because it's so expensive for the kid, when that should be the last thing that got taken away from them.
Yeah.
So we did a little bit more research, and within months we started a thing called You Deserve a Chance Foundation, and we raise monies now, about $100,000 a year to scholarship kids. We've done, and it started off just to keep kids involved in the game, more or less. But then, the kids that are involved in the game with us, like I said, we've done everything from funeral services, We've done everything from rent, turn heat on, help kids with scholarships, uniforms, books, travel, so on and so forth. And the way that we do it is we do it in two different ways. We have a golf tournament, an annual golf tournament, sells out every year. It's a lot of fun. It's just, it's idiot golf. We say it's lying, cheating, and stealing. So enjoy it. I don't care who gets the trophy at the end, as long as we get the revenue, to help these kids. So you guys fight over, who cheated and who didn't. But so that's a big piece of it. And then we do what we call our home plate gala, and it's Youth Deserve a Chance Foundation home plate gala. And we take guys that have been in the game with celebrity, right? So we've had Tom Walter, the head coach at Wake Forest, who donated a kidney to an incoming freshman. Great story, our very first recipient. Chris Singleton, whose mom was the pastor of the Charleston Church Massacre years ago, was at the College of Charleston in South Carolina. And he rallied an entire city, black and white. And so we took him and, he became, a recipient. We did Landon Powell, who had some serious illness and now the head coach of North Greenville and a big, just a big developer of men, just a big part, good Christian guy. We've had Grady Little, Mike Schill, Jack Leggett. We had Parker Bird last year, who lost his leg and is playing for the University of at East Carolina University, right?
Yep.
Stud, dude. Watched him play all through high school and everything else, and goes out in a boating accident, loses his leg, gets a prosthetic. First Division I baseball player to do that. So, and we've had a number of other people along the way in there. And what we do is it's a black tie event, basically. It's all adults, very high revenue from memorabilia. So, like Randy Johnson sent a jersey to me last year. Edgar Martinez sends me stuff, guys that I've played with over the Billy Bean, a book, signed book. I try to get rid of Springer's CDs because he just gives them away and nobody will buy them. So that's useless. Dude fell down my stairs drinking too much wine one night, got up and said he was going to sue me. I'm like, get out of my house, dude.
Oh, that's funny.
He's a piece of prick, but yeah, so that's that's it. We do it every year. You can see some of the galas on YouTube under udacf.org, You Deserve a Chance Foundation, and we're proud of it, man. We have changed lives, and it's really cool to see. This year is Gary Gilmore. This year Gary will be our Jack Leggett's been there, but it's really cool to see people that have been in the game. And before we got on, we talked about, the greatest gift that we're going to get from this game is people, right?
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully I'm looked at that at some point when it's all said and done. Not that I was a big league, that I took whatever I did and I did the right thing for others, okay? And there's so many people out there that have done that. So it's cool. They take this celebrity and they've, whether they've given their time to me or given their money somewhere or done whatever, they understand that, we were given a gift to be baseball involved and baseball people, but it wasn't because we were supposed to go to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
We're supposed to go to the Hall of Fame as human beings.
Right.
So
right.
That's You Deserve a Chance Foundation. It's udacf.org. udacf.org.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I read about it, I thought it was fantastic. Again, like you said, what are we really doing? I mean, I can say, as a high school coach, what am I really doing? Am I, like you said, am I creating Hall of Fame baseball players? Of course not. What I'm doing is I'm trying to build good men, give them a sense of community, and that's really what it's all about. So.
Right. Yeah, listen, I mean, we were gifted. We were given the chance to do something that, that we love. And I don't care what level you played it on. If you love it, nobody's love is greater than the other. Somebody's talent may be greater than the other, right? Somebody's passion and love for the game is, it is what it is. And so I just wanted to make sure that, we have a great organization. We have a lot of people that understand it. We have a lot of, every year we sell it out, and it's, and we keep it to about no more than 300 people. I mean, we could probably go to 1,500 if we wanted. But what's cool about the event for me is that everybody in that room I know one way or another and has been a part of my life whether it's my mother, whether it's Grady Little that I played for, whether it's Jack Leggett that I've known from USA Baseball, whether it's Tom Walter, who's been a friend and we've shared books. I mean, I could walk around that room and talk to everybody in that room, and it's all the same. And and to be honest, right? It sounds like it's a very it's a black tie affair. But by 2:00 in the morning, man, I promise you, ties are tied around the head. People are wearing buckets. It's great. We get it to where it's supposed to be. We get it back to reality.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, that's the way it's supposed to be. Right? Have fun.
100%.
Have a good time.
100%. Yeah. Have a good time and enjoy it. And listen, you told me earlier you had some issues with your heart. I had some issues with my heart. I had a stroke in 2018, and this thing's going to end soon, man. And I just want to make sure I've done the right thing on the way out.
It's funny you say that, because an episode I released just, I don't know, 2 episodes ago, whatever. I did an interview with a gentleman. His name is Ken Carpenter. He's a former high school coach in Ohio, and he does a podcast also. Great guy. We did the show, and Ken also had health issues, and we were talking a little bit about it on the show. And at the end of the show, I felt that I needed to tell everybody out there to basically stop the nonsense, okay? This goes by in a blink of an eye, okay? Enjoy it while you can, because one day it's not going to be there, all right? And that's, you're gonna miss this. So what's it really about?
Listen, again, there's enough stuff out there to stress about in our lives, right? But listen to your body, man. Like thank God I did. I was feeling weird, dull sensation in my chest. And for some reason, at this point in my life, I'm like, I need to get that checked out. If I was 10 years or even 15 years younger, I probably thought it was indigestion and just kept grinding through it and, whatever. And, would have been laying in my driveway. But, and that's to your point. I do, my message is, I don't care how old you would have, listen to your body, go to the doctor. Medicine is unbelievable, and there's a lot of people out there that need you here, right? There's a lot of people on your side that need you here. There's a lot of people, that even though after about a month, my wife said, I'm over this, man. I'm not taking care of your ass.
That's funny.
But it is the truth, man. It's well, I was fortunate, just fortunate that I caught it.
I'm sure you had the same experience that I did. I said this a million times, Jeff, people that I've never even met, okay, reaching out, hey coach, hope you, really, that's what it's all about. It's the relationships that you build.
I walked around our regional today. I mean, I have not been, I was able to go to the regional that Dylan was in with Georgia, and sit in the stands and watch. And then I did go to a game a couple weeks ago, sit in the dugout with our 2025 team. But I really, got out today and walked around our regional event. We have a 3-field complex, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people there, let alone the players on top of it, right? And people coming up to me going, "Hey, coach, I hope you're doing well." And I don't know them, but they know, and I'm, it's just, it's humbling, right? I mean, it's just generally humbling that people, I don't know. I mean, we don't need to get emotional. We need to say something stupid again. Let's say something old and cranky. Come on, man.
Well, I looked at it this way, that if we weren't doing something right, those people wouldn't be there wishing us well. So we're probably doing something right.
True. Yeah. Good for us.
Yeah. One other quick thing that I want to get into, and then I'm going to let you go, because it's something that I feel that you're going to have a good perspective on. What do you think about what's happening with Little League baseball?
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it's, everybody's chasing something. I like the idea. I like the concept of Little League baseball, and I wish it was more. I mean, I would extend the bases and deepen the fields. You know what I mean? Because it's getting too fast, too hard. These bats are juiced, and it's almost dangerous to throw from that short of a distance. But I would open the field up even on the 11 and 12 year side to 70 foot. And the other thing that I would do along the way is the transition from the small field to the big field, right? From 70-foot bases basically to 90-foot bases. It's a lot of real estate for these kids to cover, and there's not enough kids that are physical enough to do it. A few kids can make that jump, right? But overall, not enough. So I would create, and we have done it at our facility, 80-foot base paths. So you transition from 70 to 80 to 90. You keep the game fast. You keep the game interested. You keep the kids that have skill set but may not have the physicality to get the ball across from shortstop to first base, still able to do that, and it becomes a more enjoyable game. And so, those are the pieces right there that I would change. I would allow the kids to start to lead a little bit, but I would give them X amount. I've thought about this often, and it's kind of interesting to say this: X amount of pitches to steal a base, okay, and X amount of pitches and a pass ball. Guys throwing 5 balls off the fence, okay, you get one advance. So you're still teaching the game, right? And then once they evolve into the bigger field, the middle school, this middle school athlete or whatever. Then you start to unleash the full-fledged game,
right.
But there has to be a development process, involved in all this. It's just you can't just let them go out and just play because it's not fair for everybody at that age.
Right.
Some kids are more physical than others, and so you want to create a balance that that's going to allow the player to evolve through the game, and we want retention in the game. We want people to love this game forever, not to get to the point where, oh, I stink and I can't do this and I can't do that. It's like golf, man. I've played to a 19 handicap for a while, and I've got myself down to a 12, which is, but I've also played against other 12s, and I had just as much fun playing against the 19s.
Yeah.
We're out there, we probably drank a little bit more than everybody else when we were 19 handicaps. But, I don't even know if we finished 18. But but we, but it's the same thing with baseball. Keep it fun, keep it competitive, and it's going to get to a point where it's going to weed out.
Yeah.
It just weeds out the lesser talent. And that's the sad part about everything that's going on now. You can go down to perfect game of 300 teams, and you're going to run into teams that don't even belong there.
Yeah.
And the sad part about it is these kids are traveling to Georgia, and somebody's telling them, you got a chance to win this. Yeah, dude. The guy that just committed to the University of Georgia that's 15 years old throwing 92, he's thinking different.
Right. Well, I think that a lot of that has to do, and especially Little League, and this is a big, and that's why I brought it up. It's a big pet peeve of mine, is that I think that Little Leagues, whether it be Cal Ripken, Little League, whatever, youth baseball, you have to educate the coaches. Okay. Yeah. The coaches need, and again, they don't need to know what you know. They don't need to know what high level coaches know, but they need to know how to get to these kids and teach them the game the right way and understand what you just said, that, this group of kids I have, they're not going to a perfect game tournament and beating anybody, okay? Yeah. And be realistic and be, like I said before, brutally honest.
So Jimmy, if you look at it, USA Hockey, USA Soccer certifies all their coaches.
Yeah.
They go through extensive fundamental training, right? Baseball's rogue. So you don't like what's going on, and you have you're an accountant, and that's what you've been your whole life. You're a math guy. You never play the game, but your son likes the game, and you're going to be a coach.
Right.
And you're going to go put a bunch of guys together, and you're going to go do what? Make them worse?
Right.
Because whatever. So, there has to be, and USA Baseball is doing that. It's except they can't command because it's turned into such a rogue game, and it's so much money. People are making money all the time doing this, right? So it's like, wait, I'm not going to make the money I want to make doing this. You're going to tell Jeff Petty from the Canes, and Jeff has 1,000 teams, right? And I've had this conversation with Jeff, and I love Jeff. He's one of my good friends. And I said, you got teams out here that don't even belong here, Yeah. And but he's making money. So you're going to tell him that he's got to certify every coach to have every team? No, he's selling uniforms.
Yeah.
He's selling uniforms, and he's built a great business. He went from being a teacher making $27,000 a year to living in a gated country club.
Right.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Good for him. So, So then
but
again, it's tough. It's tough because
maybe the answer to all of that is finding a way, and I don't even know if this is possible, is to really educate parents, okay, that parents understand that, and I say this to people all the time. Why? Tell me, why would you go and spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for your son to play on some crap travel team when you could pay $150 and he can go play in his local rec league and have a great time with his friends that he's growing up with and have a lot of fun?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
You're gonna find parents that think their kid's being recruited at 12 and 13 years old. And if I don't go do this, then he's never gonna go to college. He's never gonna play. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I've gotten to the point where I've gotten somewhat jaded, by the game. It's just like, if you're that delusional, I don't want you here. Give me somebody that gets it. And I've had families be with me for 9 years, 10 years, that are just, and they've been right there and they've understand the process and they've watched their sons develop, and they may end up being a Division I player, they may end up being a D3 player, but you know what? They're going to be a better baseball player when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And again, we know the lessons that this game teaches us.
Yeah.
Through preparation and structure and and situations and circumstances. It's just parallels life, man. And if you think it's easy enough to pick up and just go somewhere else and it's going to be better over there, then as soon as you say that to me, I'm like, hey, man, see you later.
Right.
Have at it.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah. And then really, if you think about it, in that scenario, what are you really teaching the kid? Oh, I don't like it here. What are you going to do when you get a job? Oh, the boss yelled at me today because he didn't like the way whatever it is, and that's so I'm going to quit. I'm going to go get another job. Well, that's not going to happen too many times.
I got a friend that is a CEO, was a CEO at a Fortune 250 company. And I said, and he wants to go. His son's playing in college, and he wants to go talk to the coach. I'm like, dude, he's the CEO of that team. So you're the CEO of your company. A parent of somebody that works for one of your guys wants to come in and talk to you. How are you going to handle that? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Wise up, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always tell my parents, whether it be my high school team or when I was coaching travel ball, I would always tell them, you want to come and talk to me? Sure. I'm going to talk to you, but you better be prepared for what I'm going to tell you, because I'm going to tell you the truth, and that's going to be it. And you want to know something? They won't come and talk to you.
No. Listen, that's exactly. I tell them the first meeting, like, here it is, and when you have to come talk to me, bring your son's uniform, because there's a good chance you're not leaving with it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you know more than I do in this game, that's great. I mean, this is all I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in this game my whole life. I love this game. I've studied this game. I've played at the highest levels. I've been around Hall of Famers, whatever. Like, okay, you're better prepared to take care of, and the father that comes up to you and says, how come my kid's not leading off? How come my kid's not playing short? Well, he's 250 pounds. He can't bend over and tie his shoes. Not happening, man.
Yeah. I mean, and I've had that happen. Okay. I've had that. Parents, how come my son's hitting in the 7 hole? So, well, that's where I think he should be hitting. What's the problem? Oh, well, I think he's this, that, it is. Not a problem. Next game, I'll fix it for you. Not a problem. We won't have this conversation again, I guarantee. Okay? Next game, his ass is on the bench. Okay? So solve that problem now.
Yeah, there you go. No, listen, the fun part is like the parent that comes up to you says, oh, my kid was better than that kid. Yeah, I said, well, you're 16 now, and that was when he was 10, and the kid was a small field legend. That kid's a dude. He's not,
Right.
Just because, he was better at 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's fun. But again, as much as we bust on it, I wouldn't want to find myself in any other space out there in the world. No. And I've tried different things along the way and had some successes with businesses, but never had the joy of just going to the park. Like, I'm sitting in the dugout the other day by myself after I had the surgery and all that. And, I'm like, how many times I've sat in the dugout in my life, and you know what? I don't think I was ever miserable sitting in the dugout.
Yeah.
Like, I might've gotten sent down when I was in pro ball or something like that and sat in the dugout, maybe cried a little bit.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, this is the worst place in the world to be, because I was going to another dugout. I was going somewhere else. And, for us guys, people don't realize that's a special place for us. That in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
You don't find that elsewhere.
Yeah. No, I'm like maybe I'm going to say 2, possibly 3 years away from retiring, and I cannot wait to retire so that this could be, what I do all the time instead of, I still coach. I do the podcast. I write for Inside Pitch. I sit on the ABCA youth committee. I'm very involved in baseball, but I still work a full-time job, and I can't wait to be done with all of that.
Yeah, I know. Listen, and I was fortunate enough that this was the only thing I had to do as a player for, until I was almost 35 years old. And then I hit reality, and I had to, and fortunate enough I had some successes, but, back in the game, I realized, what all this is and what it means and what it means to so many other people. So many people wish they could have done what we've done, coaching high school, playing big, and that's the other piece, explaining to kids, like, you have no idea, man. How many guys wish they were in this uniform right now?
Yeah.
How many guys wish that they could just show up for practice with us every day? And you're gonna put a puss on? It doesn't work. So.
Jeff, I cannot tell you what this means to me that you came on. This was a great conversation, and like we were talking about before, I could keep going.
Well, Jimmy, I'm thankful also for for people in the game like yourself that that are doing this because you love it, and again, we've gotten richer other than dollars in our pocket along the way because of what we're doing here. It's just so much good stuff. So it's good to it really is. It's been a treat, so I enjoyed it. So thank you so much.
We'll definitely be in touch. You're pretty much at the ABCA every year. I know I've met you there a couple of times.
Yep.
I'll see you there. Hopefully, I'll be broadcasting again. This past year, I was broadcasting from there. And,
I saw that they had that set up there.
Yeah,
it was cool. Good.
So we'll hook up there. We'll say hello. Maybe we'll have something to eat and have a drink, whatever.
I'm all in, man.
Yeah.
You just say the word, and I'll be there.
Great. Okay, Jeff.
Right. Thanks, man.
Appreciate
it. Thank you, everybody. All right. We'll talk to you.
Bye now.
See ya.
So, I know we did a little grumpy old men routine there, but let me tell you something. I think what you heard there was a wealth of knowledge from a guy who's been in this game his whole life, and his sole purpose is to develop players to get them to the next levels. I found the conversation very interesting. There was just, again, a wealth of knowledge coming out of Jeff, and it was really, really a pleasure having him on the show. Make sure you check out Jeff's podcast, the Schaefer Baseball Report. Look it up. I encourage you to listen to it. Once again, it's a wealth of knowledge for everybody to hear. So Jeff gave you a little bit about his contact information as far as where to get in touch with him for the Pro Stock Baseball Academy. You can look him up at You Deserve a Chance Foundation. Obviously, like I said, you go to the Schaefer Baseball Report. You can find his podcast there. And I encourage you to follow him on social media also. So once again, everybody, thanks for listening. Make sure, again, you hit that subscribe button. Follow us, Facebook, X. Send us an email, clearingthebases@gmail.com. I always love to interact with all of our listeners out there and, reach out. Give us some ideas. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you want to talk about. And, we'll, again, try and get 1% better every day and try and make the show as best as we can possibly make it. So I want everybody out there to have a happy Father's Day. And always remember, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you on the next one.